Every child born in Yoruba land is given a name. A name carries destiny. A name carries identity. A name ties the living to the ancestors and the ancestors to the unborn. But what happens when destiny refuses to answer? What happens when a name is spoken and the world refuses to hold it? This is the story of a boy whose name was hidden before he ever took his first breath. The night Moreyo went into labor, something shifted in the air. It was not a storm. There was no thunder tearing the sky, but the wind moved in uneasy circles, stirring dust in patterns no one understood. Palm trees bent low, as if bowing to something unseen. The moon, which had shone brightly the evening before, disappeared behind thick clouds that rolled in without warning. Even the crickets grew quiet. Inside a small mud hut at the edge of the village, Moreyo knelt on woven mats, her fingers gripping her indigo wrapper, as pain rose through her body like waves crashing against stone. The midwife worked quickly. Oil lamps flickered wildly against the mud walls. Outside, Baba Talabi paced back and forth, his carved wooden staff striking the earth with nervous rhythm. He whispered prayers under his breath. Ancestors, guide this child safely. Spirits of our fathers, stand near. Time stretched. Breath grew heavy. Then suddenly, silence. The baby had arrived. The midwife lifted the child and waited. But no cry came, no sharp newborn wail, no trembling breath, only stillness. The child opened his eyes, wide, calm, unblinking. He stared directly at the midwife, and she felt her hands tremble. I have delivered many children, she whispered, but never one who looks at me like that. Moreyo reached for her son. The moment she held him, the wind outside stopped, completely, as if something had just entered the world, and the world itself paused to acknowledge it. By morning, word had already spread. The child did not cry. The child did not fuss. The child only watched. Visitors came, one by one, pretending curiosity, but each left unsettled. The boy's eyes followed movement with unusual awareness, not the unfocused gaze of a newborn, but something older, something steady. When other babies startled at loud sounds, he did not flinch. When shadows crossed the hut, he tracked them calmly. Moreyo noticed it too. Late at night, she would wake and find him staring at the ceiling, silent, alert, not frightened, not confused, watching, as if listening to something she could not hear. In Yoruba tradition, a child must not remain unnamed. On the seventh day, destiny is spoken aloud. The courtyard filled early. Women in colorful wrappers gathered with kola nuts and honey. Elders took their seats beneath the great Iroko tree. The talking drum rested at the center, ready to echo whatever name would shape the child's future. Baba Talabi stood tall in his Aso Oke Agbada. Pride filled his chest. Whatever strange signs had surrounded the birth, this was still his son, his blood, his lineage. He lifted the child high enough for all to see. The elder nodded. It is time. Baba Talabi bent close to the boy's ear. He whispered the name carefully, strongly. A name chosen after deep thought. A name tied to honor. A name tied to promise. He pulled back. The elder smiled. What is the child's name? Baba Talabi opened his mouth. Nothing came. His brow furrowed. He tried again. The name was gone. Like smoke. Like it had never existed. A nervous laugh escaped someone in the crowd. Speak louder, an elder urged, but the father's face had gone pale. I cannot remember. Murmurs spread through the courtyard. Moyo's heart began to pound. The elder leaned forward. What name did you whisper? Silence. Even the drum seemed to wait, but no name came. They dismissed it as nerves. It happens, someone said. The ceremony was postponed until morning. Another name was chosen, carefully, prayerfully. This time, 3 elders repeated it together to seal it in memory. The father whispered again, clear, certain. But when dawn came, the name had vanished from every mind, every single one. The elder, who prided himself on remembering 7 generations of lineage, could not recall it. The drummer, who could mimic a name after hearing it once, drew blanks. It was as if the air itself refused to carry it. And that was when fear entered. In the market square, conversations shifted tone. Names do not disappear unless something blocks them, or someone. Morello felt the stares, felt the distance widening between her and the other women. Children were pulled slightly aside when she approached, not dramatically, but noticeably. At home, she wrapped her son tighter against her back. He is not cursed, she whispered to herself. Yet when she looked into his eyes, she saw depth, not darkness, depth. Finally, the elders summoned the sacred talking drum. If men forget, the drum remembers. The drummer, old and respected, sat before it with solemn focus. He struck the drum gently, then harder. He called the spirit of memory into the wood. Speak, he commanded softly. The drum responded with rhythm, but not a name. He tried again. The beats became confused, broken. The rhythm fell apart. Sweat gathered on his forehead. I cannot find it, he said quietly. For the first time, the drum does not recognize the child. Gasps rippled through the gathering. That had never happened before, not in living memory. Ya Ajani listened carefully as the elders explained. Inside her shrine, incense smoke curled upward in slow spirals. She cast cowries onto woven matting. Her eyes scanned the pattern. Then she closed her eyes entirely. The silence stretched long. When she finally spoke, her voice felt older than the hut itself. This child was sealed before birth. Morello clutched her wrapper. What does that mean? The father demanded. It means, the priestess said slowly, his name was not meant to be given by you. The hut grew colder. He does not lack a name, she continued. It is hidden. Hidden by who? Morello whispered. The priestess opened her eyes. By destiny itself. Years passed. The boy grew into quiet strength. He did not speak unnecessarily. He did not quarrel. He did not run wildly like other children. He observed. Leaves seemed to gather around him when the wind blew. Birds landed near him without fear. Dogs did not bark at him. Other children kept their distance, not because he frightened them, but because something about him felt larger. Moyo began noticing something else. When he slept, the air around him felt charged, heavy, alive. One night, beneath a silver moon, Morello noticed a faint glow beneath her son's skin, on his chest, a symbol, subtle, ancient in shape. It pulsed softly like a heartbeat. She touched it, warm, real. Her eyes filled with tears, not of fear, but of realization. You are not forgotten, she whispered to him. You are chosen. The boy looked up at her calmly, as if he had always known. Soon, small misfortunes unsettled the village. A storage hut collapsed. A sudden dry spell delayed rainfall. A goat wandered into the forest and did not return. Fear seeks explanation, and when explanation hides, fear finds a target. Eyes turned toward the boy. Whispers sharpened. Since his birth, since his naming, nothing has been ordinary. Morello stepped forward before the elders. He is a child, she said firmly, but doubt had already taken root. Then came the night that changed everything, without a hand touching it. The sacred drum sounded, deep, slow, calling. The village woke in confusion. Doors opened. Feet shuffled into the courtyard. The drum beat again, clearer, intentional. The boy stepped forward. Wind circled him gently. The rhythm shifted, no longer searching, recognizing. The boy closed his eyes and whispered into the night. Morio stood frozen. She heard the word leave his lips. A name, not given by father, not given by elders, not chosen by man. The drum answered, once, loud, certain, recognition, and then silence. If destiny refused the village, if the drum remembered what men could not, then who truly named this child? What covenant had been forgotten? What promise had been broken long before his birth? In the next episode, the truth buried beneath generations will rise, and the village will learn. Some names are not spoken, they are revealed.